Listen up. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in this podcast belong solely to the podcast participants, and not to any participant's employer, organization, committee, or other group or individual. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only. You know, for fun. So lighten up and enjoy. I'll be honest. What? I never thought I'd hear that again.
Why?
Yeah, we'll get into it. Episode 48. We've almost reached 50.
That's exciting.
Depends on your perspective. It might be exciting. It might not be. So on this particular episode, we're going to be chatting about list number 31 from this stupid 52 lists for happiness. And we're going to be talking about the spaces in our lives where we'd like to get more order and organization.
Okay.
Stomping Jen just watched the pod dog climb up on the podcast table where there is thousands of dollars of electronics. Thank you.
She wasn't after the electronics.
Doesn't matter. She's a fucking dumbass and she could do something stupid and destroy all of this stuff.
But she didn't.
Well, anyways. So we're going to do that list and talk about other stuff going on in our lives. Does that sound accurate?
I'll take that for $200, Alex.
Yay. The Soft Serve Podcast. Creamy, delicious ideas without the creepy truck.
Is that it?
You know Alex Trebek is going to be dead within a month.
I know, it's sad.
Yeah.
Did you read?
No, I didn't, but I have been paying attention to what's going on with him. And he recently just announced that his pancreatic cancer, the most lethal form of cancer, has returned from its remission of weeks.
Yeah, he's back in chemo.
He'll be dead within a month.
That's sad.
Mark my words, unfortunately. Love the guy, love Jeopardy, but pancreatic cancer is a scourge upon humanity.
I can't believe he's still working.
I can believe he's still working.
You can?
Yeah. We've seen people close to us die from pancreatic cancer, and it's like one of these things. You go along okay. You get thinner and thinner and thinner, and then it just...
You're dead.
Gets you, and like within a week, you're gonzo.
Is that me?
That's you. You need to get used to wearing those headphones.
Yeah, it's weird.
Then you'll get a better sense of
my microphone etiquette.
Your microphone etiquette. Yeah, maybe.
Thank you.
I don't know if you need them turned up or not.
Do I need my bottom?
Wait,
my
you want
fat bottom? What is
I think it's on. I can tell you. Hold on. Let me look. That all looks good. Let me see. I got you set to soft because you talk slow. Yep, your big bottom is on.
Great.
Yep, you're good.
I need my big bottom.
Let me look at me. Yep, I got all this stuff on. Well, I have big bottom on. Why do I have big bottom on?
I don't know. You don't need a big bottom.
What do you think? That maybe I sound better there. I have no idea. Well, only time will tell, I guess. If I listen to the first few seconds with the big bottom on, and then I listen to the rest of it with the big bottom off. But at any rate, welcome everybody. This is going to be hitting your feeds a day or two late, I think.
Yep.
Unfortunately. And I'll talk about why. We're sorry about that. And I actually had like
Why
some
we're
people.
sorry about that?
Why I'm sorry about it because it's my fault. And
You had people.
yeah, it's
message
funny.
you?
Somebody who claims they don't pay attention to the podcast or listen to it reached out to me wondering where it was.
Huh.
Yeah, go figure.
That's weird.
Yep. So here we are doing the podcast. So like always, we ask you to subscribe, download, share with a friend.
Do it.
Do I have any expectation that you're actually going to review this? No.
Do it.
So whatever. Review it if you want.
Thanks, people.
Listen to it if you want.
What was that?
I told you I'm not going to talk to you about it.
Oh my God.
Listen if you want. Don't. I don't care anymore. There we have it.
Great.
Me not caring anymore. What do you think about that?
Is that the new theme of the show?
Yep. Maybe that'll be the title.
I just don't give a fuck.
Me not caring anymore. That'll be the title. So,
It should be just don't give a fuck.
yeah.
Eh.
I make up the titles. Sometimes you give input. Sometimes you don't.
Okay.
So we'll see what comes. What will come? Let's see. I'm still off beer, although I relapsed a few days ago. I had a pumpkin beer.
Yeah. It was a good pumpkin beer.
Yeah,
You
it was
didn't even
good.
offer to share.
That's not true.
You offered me a sip.
Yeah. Do you feel like I should have given you more?
It's okay.
We didn't answer the question. You said it's okay. Do you feel like I should have given you more?
Well, I do recollect that you mentioned you were going to share it with me, but then you didn't. So.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm dying.
Okay. You can turn your head away and cough. There you go. I liked you better. No. Right after you got yelled at by other people for your microphone etiquette. You seemed to be paying attention more to.
It's the headphones. It's not. Let's be real.
What about the headphones?
I can hear myself talking now as opposed to not hearing myself talking.
Yeah. You got those new Beats Studio by Dre. Rocking those things.
Thanks, Trey.
Yep. So, where do we land? Oh yeah, I'm off beer, so we're still drinking White Claw Seltzer, although we got something new here. Polar.
It's Arctic Summer.
Yeah, by Polar though, by the
It is Polar. Yep.
by the Polar Seltzer Company. Arctic Summer.
Boozy Bubbles crafted.
Although they better get their fucking autumn branding on point, because I don't view hard seltzer as merely just a summer drink. I drink this shit year round.
Oh, you
Do you,
think?
do you stop drinking seltzer in the autumn?
No.
So why would I stop drinking this? It says on it, Arctic Summer.
Maybe it reminds you of the summer.
No, it's stupid. Arctic Summer. Anyways. All right, do you want to stop?
No.
Okay, let's stop complaining.
I just want to not be coughing.
Okay, well, deal with it. Stop complaining and we'll keep going. So I'll take a sip of my White Claw before we dive in. Let's dive, shall we? Dive. So, anything else you want to say in terms of introducing the show? The episode?
No, but now I have the hiccups.
Okay, well, maybe this will be the hiccup episode. All right. You know what we're going to do next.
Your bumper.
News and shout outs. Whoops. News and shout outs. Well,
There's a lot of...
at least I don't have to cut hiccups in here because they're happening now naturally.
How come there's all that heart beating?
That's just what I decided I wanted to do. I don't know. It's just that's what came out of my head when I decided to do a news bumper. Do you hear that?
Yeah. Yes.
What is that?
It sounds like the wind.
Yeah, but how could that be possible?
I don't know.
We're getting this really weird static.
She's like the wind.
I have no idea what that is.
Oh my God.
That's super weird. I hope it doesn't persist. Huh. I'm just checking all my cables. That's super weird. Okay, well.
This is the technical issue.
Were you like doing anything weird? Like weird breathing or something?
Nope. No, I just have the hiccups.
Okay. Do you want to stop?
No.
This actually could end up being the worst podcast ever. So since the last time we did this is what? A Wednesday night we're recording this?
Yes.
So the previous what? Friday? Where did we go?
New Jersey.
Right.
The Garden State.
Yeah. And you want to talk about that?
Oh, well, we drove at night to New Jersey.
Yep.
And we got to drive over the new Tappan Zee. That's not the Tappan Zee. That's the Governor Mario Cuomo Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
It was all lit up. It was really pretty.
Yeah.
And then we were in New Jersey.
Right.
Excuse me. I'm so sorry.
And you don't want to talk about why we went there? Why we had to drive down on a Friday night at 7 o'clock and didn't get down there till 11 o'clock?
Yeah. So reason we decided to go down on a Friday night is because we had to be in synagogue on Saturday morning because my father delivered his bar mitzvah. How do you say what it is? It was the 60th anniversary of his bar mitzvah, and
right.
He recited it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't know what that's called though. So 60 years. So
Right.
Let's do the math. You do a bar mitzvah when you're
13.
So that means he's how old?
73.
Wow. 73 years old.
Mm-hmm. So we went to the synagogue that I grew up with
Okay.
in New Jersey, where he performed the ceremonial recitation of his Torah portion 60 years later.
Right.
And then there was food, because that's what Jews like to do.
You think Jews like food?
Everybody likes food.
But you just said that's what Jews like to do.
Yeah, we eat.
Why is that? What kind of food was there?
There was bagels
Mm-hmm.
and all sorts of different kinds of fish. What is that?
That's the new klezmer music I have programmed into the mixer.
Why do you have klezmer music programmed as a button?
Because I knew we were going to talk about this.
Oh, okay. Got it.
That's why. So go on.
So we went and it was fun. And my dad did a good job.
Yeah.
And it also is going to be the same portion that Ted's going to do for his bar mitzvah.
What is going to be the same portion that
The
Ted's
same
going to do?
reading that my father did for his bar mitzvah.
Right. Do you remember what it was about?
Sexual misconduct, mostly. It was about, my father's speech that he gave, like the learning about what he, about the Torah reading from that day, was all about what happens when you capture a woman during the spoils of war, and you shouldn't rape them immediately. You should
first attempt to win their hearts over before raping them.
Try to woo them first,
Yes.
so they would be your wife.
Wooing before raping.
Yeah, it's a very interesting topic of discussion. So, what were your thoughts having experienced this?
Well, I have a lot of thoughts, actually.
Could we turn the klezmer down some so I can hear you?
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. I can also turn
The big bottom up.
No, that's not what big bottom is.
I'm just kidding.
Big bottom
It's
makes me
just
sound
funny to
bassier.
say. It's just funny to say
Yeah.
big bottom.
So it's interesting. Okay, I have like a really long beard right now,
Oh yeah, you look
Right.
very
and I was
orthodox.
wearing an all black suit
Yeah, with a white shirt
with
and a tiny yarmulke on your head.
an all white shirt. So I feel like I looked more like a rabbi than the actual rabbi.
This is true.
So I feel like there were eyes on me just to begin with because of how I looked. That was funny. So I definitely looked like I belonged in Jerusalem in the old city.
Mm-hmm.
So there was that. And like most Jewish services, this one was very long.
Oh,
And there was a lot of to do, a lot of coming and going, up and down off of the beamer. Is that what it's
the
called?
bima, yeah.
The bima. Parading around with the Torah, people touching it.
They only do that twice. They
Yep,
do
well,
it when they
The beginning and the
open,
end. Yeah.
and when they put it away.
All that happened, so that was interesting. I've seen that a few times. And the actual services themselves, I wasn't paying that close attention to, mostly because I was helping your sister and our brother-in-law deal
all
with the
of
kids.
babies
Because they have 3 girls
under the age of 5.
under the age of 5. So it was. I thought the oldest one was 6.
She will be 6 on Christmas.
Oh, okay. So, so I was helping with the youngest one, who's like a year and a half or something like that. I don't know how old exactly.
She's just a year this summer.
Yeah. So, and she took a shine to me this visit.
Oh yeah.
So we were besties. So I was spending a lot of time with her, keeping her occupied, taking her in and out of the, what do you call that room?
Just the services.
Out of the services, and
The sanctuary.
yep, keeping an eye on Ted because he looked pissed off, like he didn't want to be there.
I wonder why.
Yeah, he looked, like he would have rather have been anywhere else in the world. So I was keeping my eye on him. And then,
Are you playing it again?
yeah, of course. So we're talking about this.
We don't have to be Jewy while we're talking about
Yeah, we do.
Jewish
So,
themed things.
Then it came time for your dad's, what do you call it? Bar mitzvah speech.
Oh, the Devar Torah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's when the kids really started to fuss.
Yeah, but
Could you hear it in the hallway?
I could hear it, and I actually, he tied. The speech itself wasn't really about not raping prisoners.
No, I know. It was about the Me Too movement.
It was about the Me Too movement, and I actually was. This shouldn't be a surprise. Like, I know your dad is a really smart person. He has a master's degree in history, and But I thought
archaeology,
whatever it is,
anthropology. Sorry,
Yeah.
excuse me.
I thought he did a really good job. Writing the speech, tying the ancient text and lessons into a contemporary subject like the Me Too movement.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there are a lot of people like sitting there who didn't get it.
You think so?
I think so. I was looking around at people, And when he started talking about not raping prisoners, like you could see some of the people like had no idea where he was going with it.
Yeah.
But, you know, like I said, he actually was able to kind of tie it into the contemporary issues around respecting women.
Yeah. I mean,
which is not an easy feat to pull off, actually, and do it well. And I thought he did a really good job.
no, he did. And he also, I mean, because my mother, which was part of the reason we were there.
What about your mother?
I mean, she talked a lot about being at the frontier of like one of the early working mothers in her, you know, just in general, like from the 60s and
yeah, I mean,
in the 70s.
When she passed away almost a year ago, I think I don't know, did your dad speak at her funeral? I don't think he did.
I don't recall.
Anyways,
I do.
he talked a bit about how she was on the forefront of the women's lib movement.
Right.
So anyways, it kind of all
tied together.
Dovetailed nicely. And I thought it was that portion of the service was actually very interesting to me.
Mm.
I thought he did a really good job. So I don't know that I ever got to see him write something and speak in public.
Right. I mean, there's not a lot of opportunity
no.
to do stuff like that. But I mean, my father was very involved in the synagogue growing up, and he would lead like the education for the kids.
Yeah.
He would do junior congregation. Like, I mean, he was very, very involved in the synagogue. And I think a lot of my volunteerism and community events.
Yeah. Now
stems from him.
Yeah. Like immediately after the services, I thought it was pretty interesting. Like you mentioned, there was food.
Oh yeah, there was food, and
which I think your dad generously paid for.
It was co-sponsored kiddush between him and another family.
Yeah, so there was this big long table, right? I'm trying to remember going from right to left. There was
a bowl, plates at both sides.
There were plates at both sides, and starting on my right, how I approached the table, there was a hummus, like bowls of hummus. There was tuna fish. There was a giant fish, a white fish. I don't know what you call that thing.
Fish. And they smoke it.
Well, whitefish isn't a type of fish, but
that's what they call it. It's
okay,
probably
so there
like
was
carp.
My point is, it was a whole fucking fish.
It was a fish. That's
lying there.
This is not unusual, though.
Okay.
So for Jewish,
I mean, not everybody may be familiar with this.
Yes.
So then there was next to the whitefish, there was a platter of lox.
Right, and there was salmon.
And next,
like baked salmon.
Yeah, next to further down the table, there was actual salmon. So tons of like really actually
baba ganoush, eggplant salad,
good
couscous.
Food. And so now picture this: the synagogue, the room where the services are held, connects to the function room where the food was.
Right, the social hall.
The social hall. And before anybody can get into the social hall, this one family got picked to do the honor of kiddush.
That was the co-sponsoring family.
The co-sponsoring family got to pour the wine and drink it.
Right, and do the blessing over the bread.
And do the blessing over the bread and have the first piece. Now, meanwhile, they're doing all of this, right?
Yeah.
And it's taking some time.
Right.
And the people in the service in the synagogue are all lining up. You can see people leaning and looking looking over at the table.
It kind of doesn't make sense. Do you think they do that on purpose so that they don't just like run to the table?
Yeah. Now, when I swear to God, when the guy took the last piece of bread, and they said, "Okay, you can eat now," it was like the running of the bulls.
Well, because everybody's sitting in services for like 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah,
and they're
so
all hungry.
Everybody rushes in now. I was at the front of the wave, so I run over there. I wanted to grab a piece of that fish, right? Because I eyed it.
You went back there with the girls.
Yeah, so I ran over to the table, grabbed my plate and my fork and my spoon, and I lobbed off a big hunk of that whitefish.
Yeah.
Right, so I worked my way down the table, and dozens of people are coming in and descending upon the table. You see onions flying up, like bits of bagel, bread. It was just chaos. And then, like, I turn and I'm like looking back down the table. I see that fish. It's stripped down to the bone.
It's all gone.
There's nothing left of that fish.
But what part did I get? Because I wasn't in there immediately.
You came back later,
Right.
and you saw the head sitting there.
Yep.
And so I helped you lob off the head of the fish.
And because you told me not to stand there at the table and pick at it.
And so we sat there at the table like a couple of savages. Horrible savages.
Fish heads, rolling.
Tearing apart
Fish heads.
that
Eat
piece
them
of
up.
fish.
Yum.
So that was
This is the best part, right? So my niece, the eldest niece,
Right.
the 5-year-old. So, like, I'm behind all the people because I know there's no point in waiting and trying to interject myself into this carnage happening.
Right.
But she turned to me and she said, Aunt Jen, can you help me get some of the salmon, right? Which was on the other side of the table. But when she vacated the space on the table and turned to me, it was like this woman just like jammed herself into the open space and I couldn't get to the table again.
So wait, she blocked the kid from getting the food?
Yeah, so then I was like, all right, we're going to go on the other side of the table. So we went on the other side of the table.
Right, so...
And I interjected myself on that. Actually, I think I waited online. I was like, let's just wait for these people.
Yeah. And so people were coming back with like massive amounts of food on their plates.
Piled up.
Double and triple plates.
Yeah.
I didn't even get a cookie.
I don't even think there was...
There were cookies.
Oh, that was on the other table.
Yeah.
It wasn't on the table with all the fish and everything.
No, it was on a separate table. What?
No, I was going to say. So the best part, though, is they have a L'chaim club.
What? Oh, okay, right. I was going to get to that.
Oh, sorry.
So
I missed the cookies.
Everybody's sitting down, eating their food, and then I notice out of the corner of my eye, our brother-in-law is sitting off in the corner at a table full of these men. And they're all talking.
Who is he talking to?
I have no idea.
It's all like the regular synagogue people.
Yeah, so they're all talking and chatting, and I turn over and I think I looked at my sister-in-law, Wingman, and I say, Wingman, what's going on over there? What's he doing?
Yeah.
She goes, he's trying to drink.
But they weren't drinking at the table.
I go, what do you mean? What do you mean he's trying to drink? And then you tell me, what was he doing over there?
He was just chatting. I was trying to get himself an invitation to the Chaim Club.
Okay, explain to our listeners what the Chaim Club is.
L'chaim.
Okay, explain to people.
Is like cheers.
Use this as an educational opportunity. I'm
telling you. So L'chaim literally means to life in Hebrew. And it's basically like saying cheers or shalante or like any other like cheer that you would have.
And what happens?
Drinking. So it's like the men usually.
Yeah.
And like, so somebody like has like some bottle of some sort of liquor that they bring, and they all go back in the kitchen and they all
and the bottle they had was fairly decent mid-shelf whiskey. It was
Glenmorangie 10-year.
Yeah, 10-year, which it's not quite 12, but it's okay.
But I happened to be at the table with my dad when the president of the synagogue, who had brought the bottle for the L'chaim Club that day,
was the president of the synagogue.
Yeah. So he came over and he was like, oh, you're gonna come L'chaim, and my dad knows me very well, and he said, actually my daughter would appreciate it more than I would.
And I was worried I wasn't going to score an invite. Nobody actually invited me.
Nobody actually
the most
I told you to come
orthodox looking person in the room did not get invited to the L'chaim Club.
But I made sure to score myself an invite into the
right. So Jen
and I made sure that you came.
Jen gives me a mercy stomping Jen.
I don't get invited to the L'chaim Club.
You got invited.
I was the only woman, let's be clear.
Right,
I was the only woman in the back of the kitchen.
So you dragged me in tow. I got in there, and they're opening the bottle. I'm like, oh, yes, good. We're going to get to drink whiskey.
No. But the best part is they were we don't know how to open it. Who knows how to open it?
Yeah.
And you were like,
I got you. I got this. Hold my beer. Right? So I go over and the guy manages to get the cork out.
Yeah.
And then they pull out these dinky, tiny little thimbles.
Yeah, they were like little shot
I was like, what
glasses.
the fuck is that? I was like, I spill that much whiskey when I'm pouring it. I was like, you expect me to be satisfied?
Meantime, our like brother-in-law, they gave them all out, and we did before we even did the l'chaim. His was gone. We were like, "Dude, you get?" He's like, "Oh, I already
anyways,
drank it."
yeah.
But it was like not a shot. It was let's be clear. You had to sip it. I don't know what he did.
It was like
totally
it was like
shot
a
it.
quarter of an ounce of whiskey.
Anyways. The
Not
guy said we
satisfying.
could have had more if we wanted to, but I don't think anybody
Yeah,
wanted
but I
to
don't want to look like the alcoholic
at the synagogue.
begging for more whiskey at 10 o'clock in the morning.
It wasn't 10 o'clock. It was 12:30. Let's be real.
Whatever it is. So,
Anyways.
yeah, so the L'Chaim Club, that was good. I mean, it's always a bonus when you get to drink some whiskey.
Yeah.
After sitting for a long time
for 4 hours.
Chasing around kids and having a good time. So then
they also dedicated the plaque.
To your mom.
Part of it. Yeah. So my grandparents already had plaques, like memorial plaques.
Right inside the walls of in the room of the synagogue,
the sanctuary.
Yeah, and they lit the little light thing.
It's just a memorial.
Yeah. No, I think they do that around the year anniversary.
The anniversary, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that was it.
That was the synagogue Saturday. And then I got hit with a massive allergy attack.
Yeah.
And I was out for the count the rest of the day.
Yeah.
I think it was the whiskey.
I don't know. Why would whiskey give you an allergy? I don't think it was the whiskey.
I also had a massive headache.
So that was the experience in the service where your father delivered the bar mitzvah he gave 60 years ago. Mm-hmm. That was fun. It was fun despite there being a overtone of sadness to it, which brings us to the next day, which was my mother-in-law's, your mother's unveiling. Why don't you describe to our listeners in the Jewish religion what an unveiling is? Because I think people may not know.
So
I will not play the music, by the way. When
Jewish people, when they die, you have to bury them as fast as possible.
Right.
So, and then they do the tombstone later. So it's like the dedication of the tombstone once it's put up.
And there's literally a piece of cloth on the tombstone that gets taken away and words are said.
Oh, it's like a little ceremony, yeah.
Yeah. Now, this, the place where your mom was buried is at this cemetery, thankfully.
On the way home.
On the way home, like an hour closer to our house. So, now, I think we were told to be there like at 10:30.
No, 9:30.
9:30. We were told to be there at 9:30.
No. Sorry, 10:30. You're correct.
Yeah, we were told
we had to leave at 9:30.
Yeah, we were told to be there at 10:30. We left the house at 9:31. It's about a 50 minute drive north. So we get there to the cemetery. It's an absolutely gorgeous place. It's huge. It's one of the biggest cemeteries I've ever seen. It's sprawling.
That's because all the New York Jews are buried there.
Has listen, you can.
All my grandparents and anyways.
You're free to make whatever comments you want. So.
Well, there's not a lot of room to get buried in New York.
Yeah. So it's a sprawling, like meticulously manicured place. It's gorgeous. Mm-hmm. I could just walk around there for hours. I think looking at people's tombstones and enjoying the landscape and nature. So,
off of the parkway. The New Jersey
now,
Parkway.
this is to no fault of your brother, but he had sent us a little tiny map.
Oh no, the map saved us. Let's be clear.
All right, so we pull into the cemetery.
And I didn't know where the plot was, where the actual.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, we didn't know exactly where it is, but Ted and I were convinced we knew the way.
Yes, you were both convinced.
And we told Stomping Jen, no, you're wrong. It's this other direction.
Right.
That's the way we should go. We're both.
But my brother, in his infinite wisdom, had literally sent me a little map,
Yeah.
Google map, like I could follow, from where we were.
Now, mind you, we didn't have a lot of room for error in getting to the gravesite.
Right.
Anyways, we got completely lost. We got turned around.
And we're driving in these like very narrow.
Yeah. And we have a giant van.
Yeah. A giant cold minivan.
So we had to stop and we had to ask a grounds keeper where it was. And I don't think he spoke English very well. I don't think
he asked, he was like, what section it is in? And I'm like, I don't know.
It was in Maple Grove.
It was like in Maple Park 2.
Yeah, Maple Park 2. So he points us in the right direction.
The direction that I originally had been taking.
Yeah, we're stomping. Listen. Whoops, sorry, that wasn't loud enough. You were right. Ted and I were completely wrong. We'd sent us in the opposite direction, actually. So we round the corner to where the plot is, in Maple Park 70, and we see
we were the last people.
Everybody gathered around the gravesite. I'm like, oh,
my uncles that had driven from Florida and like Staten Island, and
I'm like,
all these
oh
other
my god, they're gonna start without us. Fuck.
Which they would never have, by the way.
So I'm having an internal panic attack.
We were also panicking because it was very sunny.
Oh, it was sunny, and I didn't have sunscreen.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was difficult for me too. So, anyways, so we managed to get out of the car, park the car. We get out, and everybody gathers around the grave, and your dad, my father-in-law, does the ceremony, and
did a eulogy.
He did a eulogy, and it was striking. Like, I cried. I had on my sunglasses, and I think I won't repeat too much of what he actually said, except, he started off by saying, "This has been the worst year of my life." And that just punched me in the gut, And from that point forward, the waterworks were on for me. And so, he read a bunch of scripture, said a few more things. But he also, I was really surprised. He read this poem that I have heard read. You can straighten that out. He just make sure
I got it.
You don't got it.
I got it.
Okay. He read this poem I've heard read at a few different funerals before. And this was actually read at my uncle's funeral.
Did he read it or my brother read it? My brother read it.
Your brother read it. And I want to read this. Because I love this, actually.
Okay.
So it's called Do Not Stand at My Grave and Weep. It's by Mary Elizabeth Fry. I think it was written in the 30s, believe it or not. I don't know why you wouldn't believe that, but but it was written in the 30s. So I'm going to read this.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to try not to read this with douchey poet voice.
It's going to happen.
But
let's be clear.
Yeah.
You can't read poetry without a douchey poet
I am
voice.
trying to channel our friend Joshua Michael Stewart, who's an actual published poet, and he advised me, just read it. That's what he said.
Did you talk to him today?
No, but he was on our podcast, and I asked him this question.
Okay.
When I read the second page of my 2-page poem first. Yeah. Anyway, so here it is. Do Not Stand at My Grave and Weep by Mary Elizabeth Fry. Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond, glints on snow. I am the sun on ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn rain. When you awaken in the morning's hush, I am the swift, uplifting rush of quiet birds in circled flight. I am the soft stars that shine at night. Do not stand and cry at my grave. I am not there. I did not die. I love that poem. It's not supposed to be funny. I'm just saying, like, I love this poem, you know. So, and I actually think of it quite often when we go up and we visit New Hampshire.
Right. Well,
because that's where some of my uncle's ashes are spread.
and your mom's.
My uncle, who was a victim of pancreatic cancer. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but and some of my mom's ashes, I believe, are up there too. Because we used to go up to the White Mountains in New Hampshire a lot. So anyways, and this poem was read at my uncle's funeral. So I think about it a lot. I think this is the first time since those many years ago, that I've heard it read at another funeral. So, and I think that also got me. Yeah. So, and this time of year is like super shitty for me.
Oh yeah.
and for now,
for all of us now.
No, I know, but I'm just saying.
But
like,
I mean,
autumn. So like
funnily enough, you and I got married in autumn because we loved the season.
We
so
loved
much,
the fall so much,
and then everybody died in the fall.
Yeah, we got married on October 27th. My mother, the universe rest her soul, died on October 26th, the day before our wedding anniversary.
Why do I feel like she died on the 28th?
She didn't. It was the 26th.
Okay.
Then my uncle died the previous year
first,
in November, early November. Then my mom died the day before our anniversary. Right. Then my grandmother died the following year in October. And then your mom passed away like the day before Thanksgiving. So fucking Thanksgiving's going to suck now forever. And then, dude.
And she loved Thanksgiving.
And it was her favorite holiday.
Yep.
Because the family would get together.
Yep.
And then fucking September now sucks because of 9/11.
Which my mom was tied into.
Your mom was a victim of breathing in the toxic fucking shit from those attacks.
And your sister got married in September the same year. We both got married
2001.
in 2001, right after 9/11.
Yeah, so not a big fan of fall anymore. Not a big fan.
And fall can suck it.
Fall can suck what?
It.
Okay. I'll say it.
Excuse me.
It can suck my toes. How's that?
So, and then after the ceremony.
What happened? After your mom's unveiling ceremony, what happened?
So my dad had made arrangements to go to the Tom Sawyer Diner, which was around the corner.
Which has the proud distinction of being the only diner in New Jersey with no parking.
Yeah, literally no parking. And they seated us really ridiculous.
Yeah. We were all jammed into a corner.
No, but not really. We were in 6 separate tables.
I thought there was going to be a private room or something.
I thought so too, but apparently not. So anyways, it was fine. The food was fine. It was diner food.
Yeah.
There was people. It was very strange. It was my 100-year-old great aunt.
Oh yeah.
God
Aunt
love
Emma.
her.
God love her. God love her.
Just family, people that my mom worked with. It was just a very strange assemblage of people. That, it was very awkward because it was oh, it's so nice to see you. Oh, but we're so sad. And it's
and also we can't really talk because we're in this loud fucking diner.
Right. And not seated together really in any way, shape or form.
Yeah.
So, the thought was there. And then it actually got me thinking well, this is why you have happy occasions that bar mitzvahs, where you can actually invite people and people can get together and you could celebrate instead of not celebrate or celebrate life.
And you didn't like your food. I thought my food was actually quite good. I got a salad of some kind.
It was a blueberry salad. It had feta, which is why I didn't order it.
Yeah, but it had avocado. I don't know. It was good.
I don't
Whatever.
know. Anyways, it's fine. The Tom Sawyer Diner.
Fuck you and your shitty turkey burger. My food was good.
Boy.
Tom Sawyer Diner, right?
The Tom Sawyer Diner. New
Yeah,
Jersey is still like chock full of diners.
Anybody want to do a rush?
A what?
Tom Sawyer, high on you.
Today's Tom Sawyer, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's it. That's all I know.
Okay.
I would not know the words if they hit me over the head.
All right. So that was all on Sunday.
Oh my God. And then we had to go back home.
And we had to drive back home on Sunday. So we get back home on Sunday.
Like 4:30?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Right. And then
it was just a long weekend. Yeah. We were exhausted. Right. Sorry, internet, that we didn't do podcasts.
Yeah. So we're late. But it's not Stomping Jen's fault. It's really my fault, I think, because we got back, and on Monday I scheduled an appointment with my therapist. And I will tell you, I have not had a very good week. Oh
my God.
Let me explain something.
Oh my God.
I've talked about this before on the podcast here. I am a person who, for many reasons, suffers from pathological anxiety.
I thought it's generalized anxiety.
No, I mean, you're revealing the specific type of anxiety.
That's your diagnosis.
But I have...
Did I just violate some HIPAA compliance?
You did violate HIPAA laws, you son of a bitch.
But I'm not your therapist.
You're not your therapist, and I gave you a plaque stating that. But despite you not being your therapist, despite you not being my therapist, I think you can attest, and this is interesting. Well, I'll get to that in a minute.
Are we going to have another therapy session here?
No, this isn't a therapy session, but I want to explain something without revealing details about how my anxiety manifests itself. It is a real problem for me in terms of how I think about the world and how I react to events that occur around me and to me. And there's one point in my life many, many years ago where I was medicated to help me deal with anxiety. And I think I've gotten to a point where I thought I got to a point where I could handle it, but because of a confluence of stressors in my life, I think in the past few months I've been really struggling with kind of seeing the world how it really is and not through this twisted, distorted viewpoint that anxiety puts on everything. And it's really difficult sometimes because you feel like to steal an analogy from Joe Rogan about what it's like to be a guy and have sexual desire. It's like you're sitting in the back seat of this car that's driving, and like the car is just driving itself, and you're like, where's it going? Who's driving the car? And that's kind of what like having anxiety is like. You're not really in control of how you interpret the things going on around you in the world, right? It can cause all sorts of problems for you, for the people that you're in relationships with, for the people you work with. So it's not good. So I've been trying to work with my therapist on how to manage anxiety, right? And I've been discussing with him like specific incidents.
Mm-hmm.
Like, here's a thing that happened. Here's how I reacted to it. And I think he's actually a good therapist. He's given me tools to use and apply, and I've tried, and I'm trying, and I'm working on my anxiety now. On Monday, I went to go talk to him about my anxiety and a specific thing that had kind of happened to me. And he's like, well, okay. He's like, well, you don't need to do this one thing because you have anxiety, and it's really about your anxiety, and it's really about you. And like, I know he didn't mean it this way, but kind of how I heard him was, oh, you're just fucked up, and you're gonna be fucked up forever, and you're never gonna get a handle on this. And
So your anxiety has now filtered what your therapist said to you?
well, 100%. This is what I'm going to talk to him about. This is what I'm going to talk to him about the next time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I walked out of there feeling as depressed as I think I've ever felt in my life.
Is this klezmer music?
It is klezmer music. It's not what I meant to play. Hold on.
What is that music?
Totally harshed my buzz. Here we go. Sorry, I just loaded these new sound pads.
Yeah, but I don't like this one.
I like this one. Anyway, so my anxiety is not. Wait, what did you say? You said it perfectly.
Now your anxiety is filtering what your therapist has said to you.
Yeah, right. So I walked out of there Monday.
You were very depressed.
Just despondent.
You were in a terrible mood
Absolutely despondent.
for 2 days.
Yeah, and I feel like, and we had nothing scheduled for Monday night. And I was just like, I cannot sit down and do a podcast. I don't want to do anything. And then Tuesday came, kind of the same thing. It's like, I can't do this. I'm so depressed. So depressed. So today I'm feeling a little better.
That's good.
Not as depressed. But, so, as part of this, part of trying to get a handle, so one of the things that triggers my anxiety, right, is, how do I put this, digital information, like reading things and seeing things. So one of the things I did to try to like kind of help calm my brain down, right, and stop the anxious patterns of thinking was deactivate my Facebook account, right, to kind of just try to remove some of the
Digital noise.
the noise, thank you, some of the noise from my head, so I could like get a better handle on things. Now, I won't say it exactly worked because I was a mess yesterday. And even this morning it was a mess. Feeling better now. But, so one of the things I did was I told some people who I communicate pretty closely with on Facebook that I was dropping off. Right?
Your small accounts.
Not even them. Well, them too. And they actually weren't as mean to me as this other person.
Somebody was mean to you?
Yeah, they called me a pussy.
I can just imagine who that was.
Because I said I was going to be off of Facebook for a while. I'm still on Messenger. Right? And they asked why. They asked if it was because of a specific person. Like, did I get into a fight with somebody? Was I having trouble? I was like, no, because I'm struggling with anxiety right now. It's not a good thing for me to be involved with. And they just called me a pussy.
Is it somebody that I know?
It's somebody you know, and I think they were joking. But maybe not, you never know.
Because anxiety.
Yeah, but I think it speaks to me to a viewpoint many people have that anxiety isn't a real thing. Like
no.
So I want to ask you.
It is a real thing.
I want to ask you a question, but you answered it without me asking you.
It's a real thing.
But like, is it a disease that a person who suffers from it can just like buck up and deal with?
No.
Like, I consider myself like a pretty strong person, right? Like, I'm a military veteran. I lived on my own for years, sold CDs to get food. I was as poor as they come. pretty much put myself through college.
This has nothing to do with...
I've gone through some pretty taxing and challenging, professional and personal situations.
No, this is literally about how you interpret the world around you.
It's not even that. It's like how your brain interprets it, right? Yeah. It's like separate from you,
it's like
the person.
The rational part of you knows it's ridiculous sometimes, but you are powerless to...
And that's how it feels sometimes. And like...
How is it you had 2 of these?
2 seltzers?
Yeah.
Thanks for harshing the buzz on my story here.
Sorry.
So...
I just noticed you had 2, and I have...
So anyways, I think a lot of people out there think anxiety like isn't a real thing, that it, like the people who just say they have that.
I think because there's different levels of anxiety. Like like when I say you have generalized anxiety disorder, it's different than like a mild case of anxiety. Like everybody, I think, gets activated with their own personal anxiety.
There's a difference between, and this is why I say pathological anxiety, right?
Yeah.
There's a difference between normal worry,
right,
and
like
maybe
I get anxious about things sometimes,
and you should get anxious about things.
It's
right?
part of the fight
right.
or flight response mechanism in our heads from our evolution as human beings.
What the type of anxiety I have does to me is it completely warps my perception of the world.
Right.
And because of that warped perception, I act in ways that are not rational often and think in ways that aren't rational.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so yeah, I just thought it was interesting that somebody kind of chalked me up to being a pussy because I took a step to do something that was healthy for me. And I actually love this person. I don't think they meant anything mean by it. I hold nothing against this person for it at all. I think they are a good person, but I don't think they may not understand.
They have unintended consequences of what they say. This is the thing. Sorry, I don't want to go like too far down into the rabbit hole, but
yeah, just be careful. Don't violate HIPAA again and reveal details about.
All right, I just won't say what I want.
No, you can say it, but what I want you to think about framing it in a way that doesn't expose details about how my anxiety manifests itself.
No,
that's all.
I wasn't gonna say that.
I'm just saying. Say what you want to say.
It makes it difficult to. It's like walking through a landmine that I don't know like how you're going to interpret things that I say sometimes. That's all.
Yeah, and I think that's a fair analogy to share. I mean, I don't know how I'm going to interpret things sometimes.
But I love you.
Thank you. I love you too. But I
have to pee.
Go ahead. But what I'm saying is, go. I can keep talking.
Yeah, but I want to hear what you have to say.
Isn't that interesting? No.
I can't hear you.
Go ahead. No, I just think for me, I sometimes don't know when I'm going to slip down that mental slope and find myself sliding into the spiral of anxious thinking. It's really hard sometimes. But here's the good news. I think it's treatable, right? And, I have a set of tools and practices I can use to help manage my anxiety. Thankfully, through this ongoing relationship and practice that I have with my therapist. So we're going to keep plugging away at it. But I don't know. I think one of the reasons I wanted to just bring it up and mention it and talk about it in a little more detail is to, and I'm not fooling myself. I don't think I'm going to remove any stigma around how people view
awareness.
how people, yeah. So yeah,
PSA.
Yeah, if I can spread a little bit of awareness about it and let people know that yes,
you're not alone, people.
Even somebody who is as
can
articulate,
produce this amazing podcast.
Even somebody who is as articulate, intelligent, as funny, as sexy, as compassionate, as empathetic as your old pal Sawtooth Frank can experience anxiety. Debilitating anxiety. And there's still hope.
Sorry.
I can't believe you just laughed. I cannot believe you just laughed at that. How dare you? How dare you?
All right. So.
All right. Is that all I want to say about anxiety?
I don't know. Is that all you want to say about anxiety?
Yeah. You laughed at me.
I didn't. I'm just laughing at
It's okay.
the awkward silence.
All right. So that's it. That's what I wanted to say about anxiety and quitting Facebook. But I might get back on it so I can publish the podcast announcements about the podcast.
I know.
So I might get back on it tomorrow. We'll see how that goes.
Boy.
But what I think I'm not going to do is install the app back on my phone.
All right.
And I am going to block it.
That'll last for a month.
You think it will only last for a month?
I think we all go through cycles of this. It's okay to take a break from social media on the occasion. I just feel like there's so much information.
But in these past 3 days, I actually feel better.
I know. It's like it feels good for a while, and then you get back into the tar pit.
Don't let me fall. Sorry, it's not your responsibility. I was going to say don't let me fall into the tar pit, but it really isn't your responsibility. I shouldn't put that on you. That's on me. Okay. All right, you know what?
On.
Let's skip this last thing. It'll give us something to talk about next week.
Okay.
This next thing.
Yep.
I just do want to tell people that the pool is still open.
You want to come over and swim?
It's fucking cold as fuck in there, though.
I would not go in there.
So I'm going to close it this weekend, actually.
You think so? We're going to have a busy weekend.
Yeah, well, it has to get closed, so. All right.
My tushy.
Do we want to do this list?
Do we want to do the list? Mine'll be fast. Ready?
Okay.
I'll do
So
my list.
So we're going to do list 31 from the 52 lists for happiness. This is this fucking book by this woman named Maria Seal. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Weekly journaling, inspiration for positivity, balance, and joy. This thing has brought me nothing but misery.
Oh, boy.
I'm just going to tell you that right now. Okay?
Maybe you're not taking it seriously enough. You're only doing it for the podcast. You're not doing it for yourself.
That's true. No, that's bullshit. Because I don't even think about what I'm going to say when I write these lists out. Okay, so
all right.
Let's do the list. Oops.
Oh my God.
What? You like it. You're bouncing your head. I saw you. You went like this.
No, that's what you're doing.
This makes me so happy.
So, like,
all right.
oh my God. Next week's list is made for you.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about this. This list is list the spaces in your life you would like to create more order and organization in.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So what I told you earlier was like all of the things, but specifically,
Yeah. What are they?
all of my files in the cloud. I use Dropbox and things like Google Drive, and just it's a shit show in there. And my emails. I try to put things in boxes. I also never delete emails. But I organize them, but I don't delete them.
Okay.
Really. My home desk, which is a giant nightmare over
Go
there.
ahead.
Any art space I might utilize.
Okay.
Our linen closet. It's a giant mess in there.
You're thinking about fixing that?
I'm always thinking about fixing that.
Thank you.
Always the kitchen, the garage.
Go ahead.
And the kids' room, although we just went through a massive...
And who did a great job of building shelves?
Oh, shout out to the shelf builder.
Okay, here's my list. Ready?
Yep.
Stop me if I start talking too much about these
Yeah,
things.
can you just go through the list?
Okay.
Not in a douchey voice.
My clothes.
Your clothes?
Was that
You
a
have,
douchey
like,
voice?
5 pieces of clothing and you wash it once a week and then you wear the same thing over and over and over again.
Okay, my clothes.
You don't need to organize your clothes.
Our shed.
Yeah, that's kind of...
Our garage.
Yeah. I put the garage on there.
Our cars.
Our cars.
Cars are a fucking mess.
Well, what do you want to organize about the cars?
Hey, I didn't interrupt you.
All right, sorry.
Our basement.
Yeah, it's a mess.
My online files.
Your files are beautiful. Didn't I
They're
just
not where I need them to be.
comment to you about how
There, you did.
nice and
Thank you.
neat they were?
I love your files, baby.
Yeah.
You're so organized. I like how you have your files in folders, subfolders, and subfolders.
Okay, keep going.
You know what I really like about your files? When you put dates in your file names,
All right, come on.
you start with the year,
Nomenclature.
then you go to the month, then you go to the day. That's sexy.
No, you know what else you can do for months?
Year, month, day.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, enough. I can't.
Oh, year, month, day.
All right, can
Just
you
Just recite.
making me feel uncomfortable.
recite
Can you
one.
keep going?
Recite one file name to me,
Can you
please.
please stop.
Okay, I will. Stopping, Jen. You ready?
Please stop.
Look at this file here. It's 19, 9, 18.
All right, keep going.
Oh, yeah.
Can you
Yeah, I like that.
keep going, please?
Do another one, please. Sawtooth Frank. I'm feeling very sexy right now when you read your file names to me. Okay.
Actually, that's not what I feel. Can you
Okay.
Can you keep going?
My creative content, I kind of want one place for everything. So like the podcast, the comics, the blog posts,
A repository for all of your creative endeavors. Is that what you're saying?
my poetry, my writing, all that
Say that
shit.
again. Your what?
My poetry,
Why do you say it like that?
because that's how it's pronounced.
That's not true.
The union work I do needs a lot of help. My diet could use some order and organization.
Your diet.
My diet, like, I should eat this amount of protein in the morning.
Oh my god.
Anyways, don't ask questions. Sleep.
How do you organize your sleep?
It says order or organization. Like, I could probably benefit from a regular bedtime.
What?
My God, I didn't do this to you. My thoughts need more order and organization. So I wrote meditation.
Did you just put things on the list to put them on the list?
No, I thought about this.
Ay, ay, ay. Did you orderly think about it?
Our office computers, I'm working on that. Keeping in touch with people, I could use organization around that. Like a list, a spreadsheet of here are all the people I want to keep in touch with. Here was my last
Who the
contact
fuck
with
does
them.
that? Who the fuck does that? Nobody. That's called a networking tree. You're not networking with your friends the last time you contacted them. That's just a ridiculous statement. I'm sorry. Internet, are you agreeing with me? This is ridiculous.
19706.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right, stop. Come on. Enough.
Come on, just one more file name. 18. Yeah. 5.
This is just wrong. Can
God.
you please stop? Nobody wants to hear this.
Oh,
Literally, nobody wants to.
Sawtooth. That is so
I'm
sexy.
gonna rage quit this. Come on.
Okay, and socializing.
How do you no? You have a calendar, and by the way, I went to go make a meeting on Monday tonight, and it was filled with all of your calendar shit. And I was like, I don't think I have anything on Monday, but I can't be sure because there's so many things on my calendar. You just set up another calendar.
Can you read me a date in the future? Just really push me over the top, please.
Right, enough.
Okay, you ready?
No.
20.
Stop.
20013. Oh, God. Oh, Sawtooth.
Can you please
Okay.
stop?
All right, that was the list. That wasn't so bad, was it? It's over.
Thank God.
It was a short segment. All right, last segment. How are we entertaining ourselves?
Are we entertaining ourselves?
We started watching Carnival Row.
Mm-hmm.
What do we think about Carnival Row?
It's very delicious.
Yeah, speaking of which, I'd like to get an episode in tonight. It's 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
Okay.
We're not going to watch the other thing on our list.
Big Brother?
No, Wu-Tang.
Oh, okay.
Wu-Tang, which we talked about extensively last time.
Yeah, and I'm almost done reading or rereading The Handmaid's Tale.
We talked about that too.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I mentioned in the last podcast I was reading it.
Yeah, I started a book. I got all of 3 pages in.
What was it?
I forget the title, but it's Neil Stephenson's most recent novel.
Oh, isn't it called Fall?
Fall or something. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But I haven't gotten very far, so I have no idea.
Hey, listen, people. Subscribe.
Wow, we just rushed to the end of that.
Download. Leave us a review.
You don't have a bumper for how we're entertaining ourselves yet?
I have a bumper for reading file names.
Oh my God. Please don't again.
No. All right. Anything you want to say, Stomping Jen, before I hit the outro music?
Nope.
Okay. Well, I want to say it.
Bye now.
I think I got off to a slow start. I might be back. I don't know. But you never know with anxiety.
I don't know. We did get a message about our 20-minute diversion into Barney and how awful it was.
Oh, yeah.
We could do that again.
Hey, where's the fucking phone?
No, it's not here.
I have a round bread.
Let's not do that. To Madam N. Madam N was quite upset about that.
We love you.
We love you, Madam N.
Madam M. N?
N.
Oh. Okay. Bye now.
I know.
Good evening, my fellow Americans. America knows that this world of ours, ever growing smaller, must avoid becoming a community of dreadful fear and hate. Those who have freedom will understand also its heavy responsibility. That all who are insensitive to the needs of others will learn charity, and that the sources, scourges of poverty, disease, and ignorance will be made disappear from the earth. And that in the goodness of time, all peoples will come to live together in a peace guaranteed